Thank you. Next question to Arnold Viersen.
Minister, for being here today. It's congratulations on your role.
Is that what it is? Thank you.
Your ministry.
Yeah.
Resource development or resource sector investment is down $60 billion. Investment, particularly from my riding, has been fleeing. Shell Canada has been operating in my riding for quite a while. They had a huge project called the Carmon Creek project. It was an oil sands project. They recently canceled it. It was a $10 billion project. They recently canceled it. They had spent $2 billion and they left.
Yep.
It was shocking to my communities. They named two things as reasons why they left: a lack of pipelines and instability in the regulatory framework. I'm just wondering, what's your plan to bring that resource investment back, essentially?
Well, I think the best chance of bringing investment back into the resource sector in Canada would be a spike in commodity prices. And I'm sure that any proponent of a major project who has made a decision, either permanently or in the short term, to suspend investment would have to say that international commodity prices were a component in that decision. I mean, after all, we are looking at prices in natural gas and in oil that are historically low. Yes, the regulatory environment and certainty is very important to proponents, and it's very important to investors. And that's exactly the reason why we're adding some certainty to the process with these projects that are currently under review. And that's why we'll make sure that in any permanent environmental assessment regime for Canada, that fairness to proponents is part of what we imagine as the best possible arrangement. And also, you'll know that among the 5 principles that we announced that would govern the transition phase, not going back to square one was the first, because that would not be fair to proponents. So we understand that predictability and certainty are very important to any investment decision. Also, just on a personal note, for 16 years before I had the pleasure of representing the people of Winnipeg South Centre, I was the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Business Council of Manitoba. I understand the power of entrepreneurship. I understand that corporate social responsibility is fundamental to succeed and progress in the contemporary corporate world, and I am very confident that most executives and companies know that too. And I also understand that there is a spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship in the sector. Even the oil sands companies who are very active in trying to understand the best use of limited resources now are still investing together in sustainable practices of extraction. And it's very impressive, the amount of investment that has come.
Yeah, the Shell project that I'm talking about was one of those projects that was cutting edge, essentially. One of the on the resource like sustainable resource development is SAGD was the term. But it was interesting that the oil price had been down for about a year already when they canceled the project, and they had already renegotiated all the contracts, and so now this project had become significantly cheaper for them to do, and they were continuing to do it, and then more recently canceled it altogether. So I'm just wondering to get some more clarification on what you've mentioned, social license before. I'm just wondering if you could just try to clarify that for me a little bit, and also if you're aware of the Eagle Spirit pipeline project that's out there.
Actually, I don't think I used the expression social license. I think I talked about meaningful engagement in First Nations communities, which I believe is essential to moving forward. I'm not going to comment on individual projects. I'm happy to comment back to your question and back to the reasons that Shell has given for canceling or putting a project on hold. Regulatory reform, regulatory certainty and predictability is absolutely essential. And it's essential for Canada, and that's why we are taking that responsibility seriously. It's unfortunate that over the last number of years we have not been able to get approval of major infrastructure projects. And one of the reasons that we have not been able to get approval is
Was approved and it was ongoing. It just
yeah, I'm not talking about a particular project. I'm talking about the system of regulating and the system of approving environmental assessment as a part of these projects. And all I am saying is that our track record of recent time has not been successful. We're trying another way. We're hopeful that it will get us to a combined objective of moving our resources to market sustainably.
Okay. Thank you. We have time for just two of Mike Boss.